Hey all you awesome people. So we've done dragon's blood. We've done phoenix blood. Today we're dealing with griffins. But not their blood. Not this time. Instead we're going to focus on the griffin's strength. So for any of you crazy people out there that don't know what a griffin is a mythological creature that is half lion, half eagle. So being king of the land and king of the air, this creature has been known to be king of the beasts. Some common things that griffins are known for are, they're very protective, they're very strong, they have a penchant for gold. They love shiny things. They'll guard treasure. They will be very protective of anything they deem important. So for today's intentions, they're going to be fairly simple, and I'll explain them, but a little bit off the wall. One thing that I've found in all my research is that a griffin's feathers are said to be able to cure the blind. So I'm guessing they don't molt very often, or there'd be no blind people. Anyway, let's get into making this mead. So to start off with, in my magical bucket, I have 4 pounds of honey right now. Why 4 pounds? Well, we're going for a griffin's strength. So we're gonna shoot for, 18%-ish, which, again, we're gonna be using EC1118 yeast. So we should easily reach that. To make sure I hit that high ABV, I'm going to be helping my yeast along a fair amount. They are rehydrating in Go Firm. I'm going to be using an entire packet for only the 1 gallon batch because I want a very healthy colony to start off with. Because the starting gravity is going to be fairly high right now, sometimes there's a tendency for things to kind of get stuck. Or they have a hard time getting going because it's just like a huge shock for the yeast. So we're going to be, like I said, rehydrating that yeast with some Go Firm, and we'll be doing our nutrient schedule. So because I like to deal with symbolisms, intentions, all that kind of stuff when I make my meads, I like doing this because it really leads to some bizarre thing. Because a griffin's feathers are said to cure the blind, I did some research into, what kind of things can help with your eyesight. One of the number one things is lettuce, like kales or spinach, stuff like that. So what I did is I boiled a gallon of water with a head of romaine lettuce. I know it sounds pretty gross, but I don't really give a shit because we're going for symbolisms. And this is gonna cover our base of curing the blind. So I'm gonna go get my water right now. I know that spinach and kale are technically more better for healing or helping with your eyesight and such. But romaine lettuce has this awesome thing that it kind of looks like a griffin's ears. See, look. Huh? No? How about from the side? See? Anyway, to show you that I boiled the romaine. I left the romaine in here because, well, then it all gets extracted too. Now it's all soggy. Hey. So I'm gonna remove all this and then add my water into the bucket. So, as you can see, the water is a little greenish. Let's have a little taste. Actually, it doesn't taste too bad. Earthy. So, I'm gonna add about half my water and I'm gonna stir in that honey just to make sure it's all incorporated in. Now that the honey's all fully incorporated, I'm going to add the rest of my water and I'm gonna give that a really good solid mix just to incorporate a lot of air into it. Now that my air is all mixed in, now's where I'm going to adjust my starting gravity level. I'm going to shoot for about 1.140-ish. We'll see how it goes. So we're sitting at about 1.142, which is good because it will get cut back a little bit when I add my rehydrated yeast. So to get to this number, I had to add an extra 1.5 pounds of honey. So in total, we're sitting at 5.5 pounds of honey for this. One of the other things we're going to add to this mead for the Griffin to symbolize, you know, health and power, bravery, is dandelions. But what most people don't know nowadays is that every part of the dandelion is edible. Leaves, when they're young, are great for salads. The roots, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm told if you dry them out and grind them up, they're kind of like chicory. Like you can use them as kind of a natural coffee. We will just be using the petals. I understand that it is now fall, but I had picked a whole pile, correction. I made my kids pick a whole pile of dandelions for me early in the spring when they first started shooting up, and I had them in the freezer. And if you research it, dandelions symbolize health, power, and bravery. They can also technically be symbolized as kind of a earth and air type of plant as well. When they're nice and yellow, the way I picked them, you know, they're in the ground, they're hardy. But when they go to seed, you know, they turn into those little white puff balls and they drift in the air and they float and they get everywhere. So that's another great symbolism for this mead. Also, they have the word lion in them, and that's just dandy. I have 4 ounces of petals. So I'm gonna add them into one of my mesh bags, which I'll do right now. Now there's one more thing I wanna add to my little baggie. Folklore, witchcraft, all that kind of stuff. It is a strong symbolism of protection. And that is the delicious cinnamon stick. So we're gonna be adding 3 cinnamon sticks. And I know a lot of you are gonna be like, oh, 3 cinnamon sticks, that's a lot for a 1 gallon batch. Well, one, I love cinnamon. I put cinnamon in my coffee grounds when I'm brewing coffee. It's just fantastic. And it adds that intention of protection into my morning cup of coffee. The reason I'm doing 3 is we're gonna basically add our protection for the mind, the body, and the soul. And that's all that's gonna be going into this mead. So I'm gonna tie this up. So before I add my little baggie in, I am now gonna add my nutrients to my bucket, and that's gonna be a teaspoon of fermento, half a teaspoon of ferment K, and a 1/4 teaspoon potassium carbonate. I'm gonna give that a mix, and then I'll pour in my yeast, I'll give that a mix, and then I'll add my baggie. All right, nutrients are in, yeast is in, my little baggie of goodies is in, lid, airlock's on. Now all that's left for me to do is basically put it off to the side. I'm gonna give it a stir every day, just to get that air, keep that air incorporated. Like I said, I need to really baby these yeast because there's a lot of sugar in there and they got a lot of work to do. So I'm gonna help them out as best I can. I'll be adding another teaspoon of fermento on day 2, another teaspoon on day 4, and I might possibly, depending on how things are progressing, add another teaspoon of fermento on day 6 or 7. We'll see. I'll keep taking gravity readings and I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Also, if you want to add a comment down below, if there's any mythological creatures that you would be interested in me making a mead for. I already have a couple ideas, but I want to kind of get your thoughts. What's your favorite mythological creature? I'm a giant nerd for this kind of stuff, so definitely let us know that, or join us in our Discord and talk to us there, and maybe we can hash out some ideas.